All right, James. Thank you for joining. I gotta pull up my little script here first. Right. Let's make sure this thing is still recording. Right. Is it? Okay. All right. So I have a little bit of a script I gotta read through, and you can still see me, right?
Yeah, I can.
I'm just using my laptop here, and I don't have that big of a screen. Okay. So let me read the introduction here. Let me make this a little smaller so I can see things. All right. Hello, James. Thank you for joining us here today for this interview. My name is David Dungy. I will be leading our discussion later. As I mentioned before over email, I am a student from Harvard University, and I'm currently working with our local whale watching tours to enhance the customer experience of their tours. I would like to start by thanking you again for joining and taking the time to join me here today. Your feedback will be very valuable to inform the team's future design decisions. Just to confirm, I estimate this interview will take around 30 to 40 minutes. Does that still work for you?
It should be fine.
All right. During this interview, I will first ask you a few questions regarding the features and functionality. Later on, I'll ask you about the ease of use. Please be aware that there are no right or wrong answers. The purpose of this interview is to hear about your genuine thoughts in order to help me guide or later design directions as best as possible. Thus, please feel free to give your honest reactions. With your permission, I would like to record our conversation here today. The recording will only be used for our internal documentation and reviewing purposes, and I will not share it with anyone except the people working on this project. Is that okay with you?
It should be fine.
All right. Finally, I would like to confirm that you received the participant agreement form. That I got that back from you already. If you haven't already, please sign. Like I said, I got that back at the end of the introduction. That's the end of my introduction. Do you have any questions? Yeah, you want to ask before we get started? If not,
No, let's get this thing rolling.
all right, we'll go ahead and get going. So, I just have two warm-up questions. Uh, if you could briefly tell us a thing or two about yourself. What do you do for a living?
Semi-retired,
All right.
so I do consulting a couple of days a week.
Yeah, good, good, good. What does your typical weekday look like?
Like I said, generally consult about 2 days a week. The remaining time, pretty much relaxing, get some golf in.
Nice.
I do like to travel, so we spend a little bit of time on the weekends just going around, taking in the sights. It's
Good.
basically the semi-retired life. No schedules.
Yeah, I like to be able to get to do that too. All right. So, so I have a couple of topic specific questions before we get into the test here. Um, what is your relationship with nature or ecotourism?
I mean, I like nature. Like I said, we love to travel, love seeing what's out there in the world. Ecotourism, I haven't been on any ecotours, but I've been to a few of the natural parks. I've done a bunch of camping, so consider myself a fan of nature.
All right. How do you currently go about solving or experiencing a guided tour if you have? If
Um,
you haven't, you just say, I haven't.
yeah, I mean, we've been on some tours, right? It's just a kind of booking. We've been through tours of New York, tours of some of the historical sites.
Mhm.
Um, Usually, it's just kind of signing up for one of the tours, going on board, and seeing what's entertaining.
All right. How much time do you typically spend on a tour? On it?
Oh, it really depends. I think one of the recent ones we did was Gettysburg, and that took a few hours running through. So it really depends on where you're going, and the time that you're willing to commit to spend on it. But I would say most tours would typically be, a couple of hours if you're really involved.
Mhm. All right. Tell me about the last time you tried to do it. No, wait, you just answered that one. All right. What is the biggest pain point related to these kind of tours, in your opinion?
Um, the challenge on an outdoor tour is weather, right? You don't really control that. So if you booked it ahead of time and you go there and it's, think a lousy weather day, that can really impact, your experience. But I would say on a nature tour, nature is the the wild card there.
Yeah, I bet. Um, what is the hardest part? Wait, oh, I'm sorry. Why is doing nature tours important to you?
Why is doing nature important? I would say, not so much even just nature. I'd say nature and history, right? There's a lot of beauty in the world, a lot of things we take for granted. And I think being able to step back and appreciate what's out there is, I think, a great experience. So I would just say experiencing the joy of nature is really what it is.
Okay. I have see two. I have just six more quick questions before we start doing the testing. Um, what is what is the hardest part about experiencing animal tours?
You can't control the animals. It's the biggest challenge is, again, if you're out there, let's say, I think we're talking about whale watching, right?
Hmm.
You don't tell the animals what to do, right? They do what they do. So you can be on a tour and you're hoping to see something and you don't. You may be on a tour and you're basically just being able to see a glimpse of what you'd like. So it's the unpredictability of the animal behavior is the riskiest part of it.
Right. How does touring impact other areas of your life or work?
Um, Again, just being out, as you travel, right? It's just making the time to fully enjoy the experience. For that, it's just making sure you have enough time. Like I said, the time you allocate, the weather, all that comes into play. Yeah, I think that's probably what I'd just say is the impact is just balancing it with everything else that you're trying to do.
Hmm.
Um, for that.
Yeah, right. And then just four more probing questions before we start. What other products or tools have you tried out about tours?
What other products?
Oh, apps, um, or touring apps.
Yeah. I can't say we've actually gone through and tried out any other apps, right? Obviously, you do a little bit of research online, but I can't think of a tool that specifically we've used around that. I know there's some of the tours we've been on where you can get information about stuff using your device, but that's on site as opposed to something that's being done, independently.
All right. Have you paid for any of these types of tours before, or have you only gone on
Um,
tours?
well, most of the tour, like again, I said one of the more recent ones, Gettysburg, is most of those tours are basically, you do pay to attend, right? You can do your self tour walking, but the guided tours are usually, you pay for those.
How did you hear about other tour products or tools? Well, you said you haven't really done them before, so I would skip that one. What do you like or dislike about these other tour? Oh, we haven't done so. Well, that doesn't not applicable. All right. So I see. So you got to. Well, we'll start going into testing. There are two versions of the prototype. They pretty much they look similar, at least the start screen does, but they differ. Later on, you'll see. There are 7 tasks that we're going to do. They're fairly quick. Um, so first one, I'll give you a little bit of introduction about the task, and then you try to do it and just talk out loud about what you're trying to click on or why you want to go. What do you think about where do you want to click or what you're thinking would take you down the right direction. And if you on the prototype there, if you just click in the whale watcher area in the middle, just click there for a second, and you see how the login button turned blue. So, and the other ones, that's just to show you that the only things you can click on are the things that show up blue. So not every link in here is actually active because it's just a prototype. Like the whale encyclopedia at the bottom, that link is not active. But so when we start with the tasks, just talk out loud about where you think you would click for something, and then go ahead and click on it. All right. First introduction. Welcome. I welcome you. Explain the purpose of it. The goal is to evaluate the app's touring process and gather feedback from them for improvements. Can you please share? Can you please share your experience level with using websites or online platforms? It's kind of weird.
Fairly comfortable with those.
All right. Have you previously used similar apps? If yes, please share your experience.
Similar apps like not specifically like Whale Watcher, but what do you mean by a similar app?
Toury apps, or like you said, you went on the Gettysburg thing. Did they have like a tour app to go along with it or anything?
So that wasn't necessarily like a tour app. Like I said, it's, as you go through on the tours, you have little QR codes you can scan, you can get information about stuff and you search. So it wasn't like a specific app that navigated you around. For the site, you might have for the walking tour, a map where you can follow along. Mm-hmm. But most of that information was just you being able to, if you're interested in something, you could scan and get more details or sort of follow along, as opposed to, like you said, this looks like a separate app specifically for this. So, thinking about going through is like, I see a whale would be something similar where you click and you would see information about the whale, what type it is, and then you can follow along if there's other stuff you want to find out. So
all right, task number 1, I want you to find details about your upcoming tour. So the scenario for this one is the tourist is asked by the tour operator to download and install the tour app on your phone. It's not required for the tour, but it enhances the experience for the user on the tour. You want to see the details about the tour, so you need to log in and find the details. So go ahead. Oh, wait a minute. We are looking at the wrong one. Can you go back? This is the second prototype. Let me pause it for a second. When this was the one link the link that I sent you, this was just the one?
Yeah, I think that was the one link that we had.
All right. Hold on, let me pause the recording. Okay, good. So now we're back on prototype 1. So go ahead and click the and go ahead and play with it. And you can read what the screen says and what you think you should be clicking on.
Yeah, so first screen is selecting the location. 4 locations you can choose a whale tour from. So we clicked on a location. Okay, it goes through a description of what to bring. Whales you'll see, what you might also see. Okay.
All right. So you found that. Okay, thank you. Task number 2. Find details about a whale you took a picture of. The scenario for this is the tourist is now on the boat and sees a whale breaching coming out the water. You open up the app to see if you can find out what kind of whale it is.
Mhm.
So, okay, very good. And what are you, yeah, talk out loud. Tell me what you're
Yeah.
doing
So
for
I
you.
just clicked around. We've seen a whale. It's telling me based on the fin. I
Mhm,
found Bessie is a female right whale. Some details about her species,
mhm.
information about her habitats, where she's been seen. Treats.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
That's good right there. All right. All right. Task number 3. How can you provide support for this whale? The scenario here is the tourist has identified the whale and would like to support whale causes to help out. Oh, wait a minute. Daggone.
Okay.
Is it still recording?
Looks like it is.
Yeah. Okay. Stupid Zoom's telling me I got to upgrade to get more time. Hold on a second. Why do they do this? Jiminy Cricket. Um, Continue. All right. We're just gonna go a little faster and use this 9 minutes the right way. Okay. Um, they want me to spend like $250 or something like that to get a subscription. All right. So task number 3 was how to provide your support. Okay. You found that. And um go ahead and choose one of those. What do you like about these screens?
Um, they're pretty, simple, or I mean, pretty straightforward. Giving you whatever information. I mean, say, probably would be nice having a more color picture, but overall looks good.
All right. Tasks, there's 7 tasks here. We're on 4 now. You want to buy a custom souvenir to take home to family. The tourist has supported the cause for the whale, and now you would like to take home a gift for your grandchildren. How would you find a way to do it? There you go. That's good.
So click on the store,
Hmm. Do you
buy
like
a
the layout
t-shirt.
of that? All right. What are you
Hmm.
doing now?
Yeah, I was just gonna buy a t-shirt and taking a picture, of the whale that we have and changing size and checking out.
All right. Very good. All right. You can hit the, okay, good. Task 5, find information on threats and mating. How would you find that?
probably think I'd go to the encyclopedia. Um, yeah. So I'm looking around. My thought would go to the encyclopedia to find something more about it.
Mhm.
From what I'm seeing, I'm only able to go back to the sea whale and my store.
Okay, click on the whale picture there. Oh, it doesn't work. Click on I found the whale. All right. I see a whale, I mean. All right. Let's see. All right. Click on go ahead, click on the photo, take a picture. Um, go ahead, do that. And then you hit the upload. All right.
Yep.
Now from there, how would you find threats and information about mating?
Bessie's habits. Details about Bessie.
Mhm. All right.
I would
Okay.
tend to think it's about habitats and
Yeah. All right. Let's stop there. Let's see. The six. Since this is an outdoor activity, where can you find info about how to dress?
I think that was back on the intro screen, right, where it asked you about when you set up the tour. It gave
Hmm.
you some details about the tour.
Yeah. How do you think you could get there from here?
I'm hopeful that there would be like a home button or something to that effect,
Okay.
but I'm not necessarily seeing that. So from the screen, my choices are basically the Sea Whale Encyclopedia and Store.
Hmm.
So assuming that this is a prototype, I would assume back where we were setting up our tour location.
Hmm.
Right, yeah. So here it tells me a little bit about what to bring, what we'll see.
All right. And the last task for this prototype, find out where else the whale has been spotted. You can hit the back button too if you want versus going all the way through the whale finding. At the very bottom down there, there's some arrows. Maybe see if that's working. Okay. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, no, not quite there yet. All right. That's good right there. All right. So now go over to prototype 2 over on the left. And first task here is find out about your upcoming whale tour. And let me know if you find out anything different that you like better on this one than the first prototype. All right, so go ahead. What do you think about this path to the details page?
I think it has more information. I like the layout a little better on this one.
Mm-hmm.
It seems a bit more like at the screen that we're on, seeing the route that we're taking, it's more information to kind of, tell you going in.
Mm-hmm.
So I tend to probably prefer a prototype to a bit better.
All right. All right. Find details about a whale you took a picture of. All right. Very good. How can you provide support for this whale? Do you like these screens better than the first prototype? You can go ahead and click one of the like the research one there.
Yeah. I tend to like the screen better, and I also like the idea of, even a simple thing like adding your own notes about what you see
Mm-hmm.
gives it a little bit more like personalized about, you're sharing your information, not just a picture and reading stuff. So again, I think it's a little more interactive, which I like.
Our it's going to end in a few seconds. We'll do this again. I'll start another recording. But task 4: buy a custom souvenir to take home to your grandkids, and see what you think of that. Yeah, compared to the other one, what do you think about this one? Does this seem easier to use or harder to use?
Yeah. I again, so far I am liking this one better.
Okay. And go with task 5: information on threats and mating. I made I made the recording button too small. All right, James. Sorry I had to cut off before. We're back in here. I'll have to just figure out a way to stitch these two videos together. All right, so we're recording again. Hope it's recording my face this time. Let's see if there's looks like it should be recording my face. All right. So we'll just start over on task 5 on prototype 2. Find information on threats and mating.
Okay.
So yeah. You can skip past this and click the I see a whale in the lower left-hand corner. It may not be active just yet, though. Yeah, I think it's not active yet. It's not clicking. That just keeps going back to that.
Yep.
Click on the store button, see what we can get out of this section.
All right. So let me try.
I'll cut out all the moving back and forth and stuff in
Okay.
iMovie when I stitch all this together.
Okay. Looks like we're back.
All right. And so find information on threats and mating. And all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's see, task 6. Since this is an outdoor activity, where can you find information about how to dress?
think that was back on the initial setup, right? And we were setting up a tour,
Yeah.
right?
All right.
Yes.
Good, you found it. And then the last task is find out where else the whale has been spotted. Right. Okay, that's all for the testing. So I have a couple follow-up questions here. Thank you for the time again, and these insights will be very useful and to contribute to improving this app. And I'll send you what we call it a bribe. You know, it's basically a compensation for participating. Um, I'll send you the Harvard shirt. I couldn't get the cap, but I'll send you a shirt. So the last follow-up questions here, there are about, looks like about 13 of them or so. What is your first impression of this application?
I think it's interesting. Like I said, just between the two, I think prototype 2 is a little bit more interactive.
Mhm. Why do you think someone would use this app?
Well, definitely someone who's interested in going on a whale watching, right?
Mm.
In terms of just planning what you're hoping to accomplish. Like I said, there's a part of me that I'm curious about, is there stuff I could have done before embarking on the app? So it might be nice if the app gave you the opportunity to kind of learn some stuff beforehand.
Mhm.
That's just my personal opinion.
All right. Can you see yourself ever using this app?
Um, Again, I can see it on the tour. I
Mhm.
said, to the earlier comment, right, is it an app that I would go back to if I wasn't on a tour? Probably not. If it provided some information that wasn't specifically tied to the tour and I was a, whale enthusiast, that might be, a reason for me to go back. But this is definitely something I would just probably use
Mhm.
on the tour itself.
Um, why do you think you could trust this app?
Associated with the tour, I'm assuming, that they wouldn't probably put something in that they weren't, comfortable with backing. So I think being that it's related to the tour is why I would trust them.
And how do you think this app is going to help you on a tour?
I think it's easier to be able to take a screenshot, identify, and find out information, right? My probable worry would be, would I be spending more time on the app and missing, the whale, right? So that's the balancing I have to kind of figure out.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Would you use this app today?
Um, if I'm going on the tour, sure.
Okay. What might keep people from using the app?
Again, assuming I'm on a tour and I don't see a whale, right?
Mhm.
The benefit of the app, other than signing up for the tour, is more the interactivity.
Mhm.
So if I'm there and there isn't anything for me to kind of take a picture, upload, I'm not sure if I would necessarily go and use the app itself for that, right? So like even for the store where, from what I'm seeing, some of the information is around the novelty was uploading the picture I took,
Mhm.
and getting something, right? Other than that, if I would go to the store, I'm just going to be purchasing something, and I wasn't able to see what are the other options they would have there.
Mhm.
So, again, I think if I'm on a tour and we've seen a whale, it's more appropriate to be interacting with the app.
Mhm.
Outside of that, it might be limited.
Cool. Um, what's the so there? Let's see how many questions are left. I got 2 in this section and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the next one, and that's all we have. What's the most amount of money you would be willing to pay for this app?
No, 99 cents.
I
Should be a
don't.
free
I
app because the
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, I don't think I'd pay for this app, honestly, but I mean, I think it should be included in the price of the tour. That's just my opinion, though. Does this remind you of any other app?
Mhm. No, not specifically, no.
Mhm. All right. And then the last section is these basically usability questions. But what's most appealing about the app?
Um, I think it's streamlined, right? So there's not a whole lot to kind of distract you.
Hmm.
Um, like I said, I think the thing that sticks out is if you see a whale, right, being able to identify that, that's the nice part of it. The other stuff, it's again, I wasn't able to use like the encyclopedia, but basically I think the best part of the app was the quick identification and
Hmm.
learning some things about whatever it is that you were able to see.
Right. What's the hardest part about using this app?
Um, I honestly, I think some of the navigation could probably, you know, be improved. Now, again, it's a prototype, so I'm gonna, kind of caveat that. But I'm very accustomed to kind of like a quick home button to get back to like a main screen.
Hmm.
Whereas here, I using the back button was able to do that. There wasn't like a quick way to get back to like a main screen or home screen where you have a list of various options. So, and I don't know if the bottom, navigation panel is basically what that is, where it's just the store, the
Hmm.
uploader, and the encyclopedia. But
Hmm.
that's the part I was.
So I guess I didn't make out is that whale up top is supposed to be a home button. I guess I
Okay.
improve that. See, it takes you back to your tour.
Okay.
So that's something I need to improve on here. So that was there anything surprising or unexpected about this app?
Nope.
Okay. The next one was what could be done to improve it? You just mentioned. Was there anything missing from this app that you expected?
I wouldn't say that I expected. I think like on the screen that we're at, right, is here are the types of whales that you will see, and I see those. It would to me would be nice to say, okay, if I click on what a humpback, if I didn't know what a humpback looks like, right, having, let's say, if those links were active, right, you click on those and you'd be able to see some information about the humpback. So here it's giving you what you'll see,
Hmm.
but it's just like telling you what you'd see, not visualizing what you would see, right? So if I'm thinking, well, I've never heard of a right whale, right? Is like hopefully it's a link where I might click it and it'll tell me something about a right whale or something about a humpback. So it gives me some information. So when I see a picture or hopefully I see the whale, I
Hmm.
have some, information going in about what I might be seeing.
Hmm. Okay, cool. All right. So that was the last of the questions. Just as a wrap up, this is the end of the interview. But before we finish the session, would you like to ask if we would like to ask if you have any questions, concern, or any further thoughts you might want to share.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. The one thing I would be curious about, it'd be nice to also add some color to it, right? It's a very mono app at the moment.
Mhm.
And in the world that we live in, where visual, it
Mhm.
would be nice if, there may be a version or a future version where it's a little bit more color.
All right. We would like to thank you much for your time and your insights. All of your answers and ideas will be valuable contribution to our study. Thank you very much for your time, and we really appreciate it. I'll stop the recording now. Let's see.